just mention it one more time. The duel in the desert is done and dusted. An efficient performance from Team India. And yet again, we've seen an India-Pakistan battle that's ended up being one-sided. India fans won't mind, but then from a neutral perspective, it wasn't quite the thriller that maybe it could have promised. But then again, as I said, just the way Pakistan played in that second half, they didn't put enough runs on the board, and the bowling just didn't have the teeth to defend that.
They didn't put enough runs on the board, but that on paper is a quality bowling lineup. You've got Amir, you've got Hassan Ali, you've got Shadab Khan. Zaman is a decent bowler, and the best of them all today was actually someone I've not mentioned in those four, because he's still such a youngster, and that's Shaheen Afridi. But they will not hold catches from his bowling. I don't know. I just feel for the young man. So this on paper is a quality lineup. What we saw today was not this bowling lineup. They were very, very ordinary. I mean, things change on little matches. You could have taken the 2 Rohit catches. Maybe the Fakhar Zaman LBW things could have been different. But 238 for 1. For people of my generation, I won't even say me and Joy, because there's still little distance there. To see Pakistan bowl like this is difficult to believe.
The Pakistan bowling attack is a bit like, the England, famous England football team of the 90s, which they used to say, fantastic on paper, rubbish on grass, Yeah. It was exactly like that. They just didn't do anything.
I mean, they look back, Pakistan are going to look back at this and say, Mohammad Amir 5-0, 41-0, blue-eyed boy. His bowling, in the last 10 matches, so in 2018 he's got 3 wickets at an average
96.
96 at that point, midway through. It was probably closer to 100.
It's been more than 320 balls since he's last taken a wicket. July 3rd.
Yeah, that's a disappointing. I mean, you wouldn't want to look at the bowling figures there. As far as the batting lineup is concerned, well, there was really not much. It was the Shikhar and Rohit show once again. Such a successful opening combination. And in this match, it was just the two of them. Raidu just came in to keep Rohit Sharma company at the end after a magnificent innings from Shikhar Dhawan, 114 of 100 balls. And Rohit Sharma taking his time at the end. Otherwise, he had a very decent strike rate for most of his innings. Yeah. And, the only thing I'm going to take credit for, it's all credit to them. I'm allowed to gloat for a moment.
Go on.
Inside 40 overs.
Go on. Just about, but it's okay. We'll give it to you. We'll give it to you. The other day, Rohit Sharma took off. Shikhar Dhawan struggled a little at the start, so Rohit gave Shikhar the time that he needed. Today, you could see that Rohit Sharma took a little time to get off, but how good were the shots that Shikhar Dhawan was playing? I mean, the first 30 runs, there are 4 shots I remember. We've always said that when Shikhar Dhawan drives out the front foot through cover, he's looking good. So he played that front foot cover drive. There was one of the back foot that he played. There were pull shots. And then I think in Amir's second spell, so Amir's third over, they were 2 straight down the ground. Oh, today Shikhar Dhawan batted as well as we have seen Shikhar Dhawan bat.
I think the secret of that relationship is the fact that both of them are brilliant stroke players. So what happens as a result is, especially Shikhar, he takes the pressure of Rohit when Rohit's not scoring fast. And it's exactly the other way around, when Rohit starts hitting and Shikhar is struggling with it. So neither of them ever feel the pressure of making the kind of shots that, Pakistan played against India in the previous match, where in the first 12, 13 runs in 4 overs, they had to go for it. So they never feel that pressure. That's important.
You mentioned that relationship, and that's what it's been. Not just today's partnership, which was sensational, 210 of 201 balls, but it's the historic figures that we've got that are really staggering. Ever since that game in Cardiff against South Africa in the Champions Trophy, in the multi-nation tournaments has been where they've blossomed every single time, and it's been absolutely phenomenal, and these figures will back it up.
We often look at Rohit Sharma and look at his red ball form to talk about his white ball form. That is staggering. 65, and they're fantastic strikers. Every time you think of Rohit Sharma, we let his red ball persona take over the analysis of the white ball persona. Purely as a white ball opening batsman, he's been among the best there have been. And you look at his average from 2013, say in the Champions Trophy game when Rohit and Shikhar started batting together. You look from there to now, and his figures are second to none. He is an outstanding white ball batsman, among the very best. And I think we should now separate the red ball Rohit and the white ball Rohit. Say maybe they're 2 different people answering to the same name, but as a white ball batsman, he's incomparable.
There's only one batsman who comes to mind in the world, and that's Martin Guptill, who answers to different names when he wears white clothing.
And of
Very
course,
similar.
he
No,
also
it's
has the
a different
IPL where he completely disappears. But that's, that's Owen Morgan as well. Plays well everywhere, comes to the IPL.
Rohit's in a different league.
Yeah, I mean, completely different league. And let me tell you one more thing. For people, especially who've started following cricket from the 90s onwards, it's about time to look and say, we used to always, opening pair for India, Ganguly Tendulkar was the sort of gold standard of ODI opening pairs. I think this pair is now
For a while,
beginning.
Sehwag Gambhir, but yeah,
So, yeah.
you're right.
Well, we saw the list there as the match was progressing, and they're getting there in terms of their 50 partnerships and their 100 partnerships. They're climbing up that ladder.
Yeah, true. I mean, the only thing I will say in response to what Joy said is that in white ball, in ODI cricket, every 3 or 4 years, the benchmarks change. Because the rules change, so much changes, 2 white balls, no reverse swing, so much changes. Every 3-4 years, the benchmark changes in one-day international cricket. So Ganguly and Tendulkar was, that was something else. But these two are.
There you go. You mentioned Ganguly and Tendulkar, 21 100-plus opening partnerships in ODIs, and we're talking about all partnerships across teams. Gilchrist and Hayden, legendary Greenwich and Haynes, and I think well-deserved in fourth spot and climbing. Remember, there's no Greenwich and Haynes playing anymore, no Gilchrist and Hayden playing anymore, no Tendulkar and Ganguly playing anymore.
And
I reckon that's going to be...
There isn't another pair around in international cricket, at least in this point in time, who are threatening.
Yeah, true.
There's nobody else, where both of them are settled playing together.
Without a
enjoying
legacy,
it.
I think in English conditions, Bairstow and Roy have done very well, but that's over a small period. Yeah. This is 5.5 years now.
5 years they've done well.
And they've still got some time left to know. It's sort of like the Jimmy Anderson record now, which is really going to be tough to beat in terms of fast bowlers and test wickets.
Only see Kagiso Rabada if he stays fit going that far. But this was fantastic. We talked about Shikhar's shots today. Once Pakistan had finished dropping Rohit 1.5 times, one was a half chance, but I still think it should be taken at this level. The one that Shadab put down. Shadab is an exceptional fielder in any case. But once those two are put down, how good was he? That swivel pull shot. You talk of Tendulkar's straight drive, you talk of Ganguly's cover drive, you talk of Rahul standing up tall and hitting the straight bat through mid-wicket. Does anyone play that swivel shot over there? And he hits big, When Rohit is playing like that, that bat is just a wand. It's beautiful to watch.
Lazy elegance. But it's one of those things. At that point when he was dropped, as Harsha mentioned earlier, he hadn't quite got going. And it was almost as if that was a switch. All right, I'm here now.
But it happens to a lot of players, because a lot of players, it's like, somebody drops a catch and they suddenly think, this is my day. Somebody's dropped a catch and you just suddenly...
Or you get dismissed off a no ball, a free hit, you hit a big shot and you get going.
Yeah, suddenly it's like that. And so much of this is mental, when it's all out there.
But just there's one point we talked about at the start in the mid-show, and that's the fact that the Indian middle order has not been tested.
Yes.
Now, if we have to be a little negative and look at one point maybe we would have liked India to have had in this sort of run-up to the final, that's going to be the fact that middle order is still not tested.
No, that comes to the baggage of being in the middle order, where you have an extraordinary opening combination.
And a great number 3 for most of the time.
Look at a one-day player of the caliber of Yuvraj Singh. And Yuvraj was a very special one-day player. How many hundreds did he get? Because Yuvraj was often finishing the innings down at 6, then he moved up to 4, but he was playing in an era of extraordinary opening batsmen. So Yuvraj had to make the best of what came his way. Similarly, in this team, you've got Raidu and Karthik and Jadhav here. Has Jadhav batted?
No, Jadhav.
Whatever, he might have come in for a little while somewhere. Yeah, right.
Just once,
the first game. So that comes with the territory. So I know where you're getting at. Suppose tomorrow you're playing the final, it could well be Pakistan again in the final, and suddenly you're 30 for 2. What happens? Yeah, that's.
But the other thing is
victories. Just to see that. We talked about inside 40 overs, and I'm not talking about prediction. I'm looking at all.
No, that's a very subtle way of saying you got it right, but we'll let that be.
That's about the third time we mentioned it.
I'm not gloating. I'm not talking about myself. When you finish in 40 overs.
This is like this
3 times in 5 minutes.
This is like Danish's Champions Trophy story that but we won the Champions Trophy. But I got it in 40 overs.
Okay, I promise you there was a method to my madness here, and it was the fact that India have had 8, 7, and 9 wicket victories respectively in the 3 matches they've chased, in 29, 37 and 40 overs. So that's again, talking about the middle order, either not being tested, not having enough opportunity, but also, of course, full marks to the top order.
One of the reasons we create this hype is because we want to build up the rivalry, but also a lot of people are from a generation that is slightly removed from this one. You talk to people India under 30, or you talk to people who watched India versus Pakistan over the last 2-3 years, and they'll say, what is this hype? What is the hype you oldies are creating? Because there is no competition. In the last 5 years, Pakistan have won one game by a wicket, and Pakistan have won the Champions Trophy final. Outside of that, Pakistan have not competed. And I'm not trying to say, wow, we great, you horrible, which is part of the terrible discourse that takes place. It's just that Pakistan, as a limited overside, are in decline, I think. And that surprises me, because at the start of the tournament, I said this is Pakistan's best one-day side for a while. But come pressure, come whatever, they're just disintegrating. You take Shoaib Malik out of that, and he's what, 37 now? Legally. Whatever. You take Shoaib Malik out of that side, and what do you have in that middle order now?
Almost seems eerily similar to the hockey parallel. I mean, there was a time when India-Pakistan hockey game was going to be a cliffhanger, similarly to cricket, and now both are one-sided.
I think, and that's the point. And you are going to get the occasional Pakistani victory, but it's going to be the aberration simply because at one day they've just lifted their game enough emotionally. See, also let me tell you one thing, no matter what the Indians say, right now they also know that Pakistan, they know that Australia is maybe the team at that level, or England, the ODI game is at that level. I don't think they're looking at Pakistan to say that I have to lift my game for Pakistan. They have to say, they're saying, okay, let me play my game for Pakistan. But they're not your gold standard that these are the guys I want to beat to prove myself to be the best in the world.
You know, if you look at how players are growing in a side. Over the last 12 months, Pakistan have generated some great numbers, but we looked at those numbers recently. Their numbers when they're playing the bottom 5 sides are almost twice as good as the numbers when they're playing the top few sides. Where was Bhuvneshwar Kumar 4 years ago? In the last 4 years, where has Bhuvneshwar gone? Where has Bumrah gone? Where has Chahal gone? Where has Kuldeep gone? There are young players in this Indian side who are rising in stature as they go along. Where has Junaid Khan gone? I looked at Junaid Khan, might have been the Bangalore game when Irfan and Junaid had India down 29 for 5. And Junaid was swinging the ball this way, he was seaming it away. He was a beautiful bowler to watch. Where is Junaid Khan? Where is Wahab Riaz? Where is Mohammad Irfan? Where is Sohail Khan? He took 5. Who was the guy who took 5 against India in one of the World Cup games? So Pakistan have a lot of people who are dying. Where is Umar Akmal? Where is Ahmad Shahzad? And that is something for Pakistan to worry. It's not for us to worry. But the good thing is that there is something about the setup, and it could be the IPL. If it is the IPL, then we should start seeing the effect of the PSL coming up. But the bowlers are growing in India. And all along, as we said in the pre-show, it was always Pakistan's bowling versus India batting. That was the contest. Now it's becoming India's bowling versus Pakistan's batting, and that is a contest India winning.
The last time I saw Sohail Khan was in the Hong Kong Sixers, and he was playing pretty much as a batsman there.
There you go.
It's sad to see some of these players going. But let's just reiterate these.
There's another Ejaz Chima. He was all right. Yeah.
Let's just reiterate the figures that we talked about earlier. And these, of course, are the figures of multi-nation tournaments and the magical pair of Shikhar Dhawan and Rohit Sharma. And this 100+ partnerships, 6 times, 50 partnerships, 8 times. We've shown these figures once, but I think let's harp on those two figures at the bottom.
You're getting 14 starts. 14 times you got a start out of 26 games. Yeah. I think the only time they've been vulnerable is when the ball has swung around a little bit at the start. But those are fantastic numbers.
Also remember, add to that normally the number 3 player there is probably the best ODI batsman in the world.
Yes.
And then you begin to understand the gravity of what they're doing together as a unit. And that's when you'll ask yourself, why do these guys in the middle order, why aren't they developing? They don't have a chance, You need some, shade place to grow. You need some sunshine to grow. They're not getting the overs to grow. And that's a fact of the matter.
Simon Dool is not here. Had he been in the studio, he would have reminded all of us what he said earlier. He said there's 3 matches, India versus Pakistan. Yeah. His theory, India is not going to win all 3.
Okay, wait a minute. I did a degree in mathematics at some point, and here's how it works actually. When you look at the start, okay, your chances of winning a match are what? Half? So say half into half into half. So win first, win second, win third. Your chance of winning all 3 are 1 in 8.
But it's an independent event.
Correct. But once 2 are over, the third match is now an independent event. So your odds of winning are definitely more than 50%, not that they've suddenly precipitously dropped because you've lost the last 2. So his logic is a bit flawed.
The probability of winning 1 and 2 and 3, assuming both are 50% probability events, 1 and the second and the third is won by it, assuming there's an equal chance of both happening. But each is an independent event here. So it's still 1-2, assuming both teams are evenly matched.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
And you would never, what call you make at the beginning, after 2 matches, it doesn't mean that the chance of India winning in the last one is hugely dropped.
What is the probability that one mathematics graduate, one engineering graduate is sitting on a cricket program?
I tell you.
And you?
And I was just going to say,
Copywriter.
I wasn't even mentioned. I am a graduate.
No, I agree. It's just that, I mean, he was an outstanding
Nothing technical.
copywriter.
Nothing technical. Mass comm. Yeah.
No, it's okay. It's still
Fair enough.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
But coming back to mathematics, so is that proof then that the law of averages is not really a mathematical law?
No. The law of averages, the point is at which point in the event do you call it? So if before the tournament you say the India's chance of winning 3 are very low, or a 1-8 in normal circumstances, you can call it. But if once India has won 2, the next time you say the chance of winning the third game are actually better than average because your team is playing better as well. So your odds don't decrease. That's the basic point. That the results of the last 2 games basically don't mean that this one you're going to go down. That's all.
Yeah, and by law of averages, I will never sing better than Shankar Mahadevan or Sonu Nigam. So
Okay, we've given Simon Dool enough hiccups wherever he is right now.
no, it could happen. It's a cricket match. It could well happen that, like in the Champions Trophy final, suddenly Pakistan come out, they hold their catches, there's a couple of wickets going that way. That's a cricket match. It can happen. But on the evidence of what we've seen so far, it'll have to be a completely different side. That
But yeah, just go on a serious note, forgetting the numbers, the mathematics, anything like that. It's the way Pakistan seemed to turn out.
Huffed and puffed against Afghanistan. Really, with a slightly more experience in their bowling, Afghanistan would have won that game.
They would have.
Yeah, I mean, you look at that Aftab, the fast bowler.
Yeah.
He bowled.
Aftab Alam.
Yeah, Aftab Alam, 2 or 3 great Yorkers, 1 short 6. 2 good Yorkers, 1 short 6. That's where they lost the game. Otherwise, they would have lost to Afghanistan. They looked very much like they were going to lose to Afghanistan.
Safraz, at the end of the game, he said, well, 2 things. One, the wicket was a little difficult to play in the afternoon, which is why he was justifying their slightly subpar score. And of course, stating the obvious, should have taken a few catches.
And he won the toss and batted
He
first.
won exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah.
He won the toss. So, I mean, did he get it completely wrong? I mean,
Look, I don't know. It seemed easier to bat, Joy. It seemed easier to bat the second time, but you don't know if that was the brilliance of the batsman or whether it was
the logical choice, because you're expecting the
ordinariness of
wicket to
bowling.
slow down when it's chasing, and we've seen that happen. Don't want to field in the sun, 41-degree heat. 2 reasons perhaps, and big match, runs on the board. Not quite a final, but still a big match.
Used to be. Hasn't been for the last, if you win 2 of the last 10, then it's not a big match anymore. As he said, Pakistan could win, and we're not trying to sit here and gloat and say, my papa strongest. No. We're saying it could win, but if they win, it's now an aberration.
it's an aberration. Yeah, absolutely. And it's, for people of a generation who have seen that India-Pakistan match at the heights that it was, maybe this is not the thing. And I'm not necessarily sure it's a bad thing, because I think, the non-match part of India-Pakistan matches were way too hyped up for my liking.
Yes.
Yep, Shikhar Dhawan is the man of the match. But what about the points table? Let's remind you, there's still another match in progress in Abu Dhabi, and a few ifs and buts there. We know for a fact that if Afghanistan go on to win, India officially seal their place in the final. But we'll give you the points table. We'll come to that.
Shikhar Dhawan batted. Okay, we'll look at that. So I think it's fair to say with that India are through. Because in the next game, India play Afghanistan. They lose that they're on 4. Pakistan versus Bangladesh.
2 teams can't catch up.
2 teams can't catch up. So, well, it depends. If Bangladesh win today, they get 2 points. But then Bangladesh versus Pakistan, only one of them can get to 4.
Yeah. 2 teams can't catch up. So India is technically through.
Tell me, on the man of the match, yes, Shikhar Dhawan batted beautifully. The target was brought down to 238. If the track was indeed as dead and flat as all that, then 4 overs, 17 runs at the death, 10 overs, 2 for 29. Bumrah? Why are we not looking Jasprit Bumrah?
I think.
I mean, a century is overpowering. 2 for 100 is more overpowering than 2 for 29. But I hope they considered Bumrah very, very closely.
They should have, certainly. And you look at 200s, maybe almost saying that, look, both these guys did it. It was that easy, and therefore Bumrah becomes a stronger candidate rather than a single century.
No, absolutely. And the other thing is that if you see the Indian bowling attack now, what has really been the hallmark has been not that they've been brilliant necessarily, because everyone is brilliant, has a good day and a bad day, but they've been very disciplined.
Yeah.
They've just they've closed down those basic opportunities and said, so they've got their runs, they've been hit for the occasional 6, but it's been a good shot that's got it. It's not been a loose delivery, and then bowlers just haven't lost their heads, and it happens, you go for 18, 20 runs, you just go badly. It just happened 1 or 2 overs. I think Jadeja got hit for a few in 1 over, but that was about it. They don't get mauled very badly, and that's important. As a bowling unit, they're hunting together, and that's important.
When these 4 play together, play in a game, I think India have now won 12 out of 15. So we talk so much about our batsmen. We talk about how India's batsmen are the blue-eyed boys and how they're fantastic. These 4 bowlers playing together have now delivered 12 wins out of 15. And I think it's time we all sort of changed tack from batting and said, you know what, we've got a really special 4-bowler unit in our midst. If they continue bowling this way and go to the World Cup, then the only numbers you need to look at are 6 and 7 in there. We talk about 4 a lot, but if you can get 6 or 7 right, I think if Hardik Pandya is 6, find somebody at 7, or maybe Kedar Jadhav, whatever, Kedar Jadhav 6, Hardik Pandya 7, but that's the only thing that will be left to fill. These 4 are fantastic.
Yeah, and you could feel it. Obviously, whenever we've talked about them missing recently, England being an example, in both formats of the game, now, when they're into the side and winning matches for you as a combination, or at least one of the 2 standing up, and today we saw Bhuvaneshwar Kumar, despite a 22-run over, still came out with respectable figures. So you know just how much they were missed in England.
I think also very important, Bhuvaneshwar's back should be one of the single priorities of the NCA from here
Bumrah.
on.
Just look at what Bumrah is going to do in the build-up to the World Cup. In the build-up to the World Cup, Bumrah is playing 4 test matches. And he's already emerged as your go-to bowler in the test matches in England. Every time Kohli was looking around, he was looking at Bumrah. I mean, at least the last 3 test matches. So he's playing 4 test matches there. He's playing 3 one-days after that. He then goes to New Zealand and plays the limited overs there. Comes back, plays 5 one-days against Australia in India and plays the entire IPL before going to the World Cup.
Do you reckon he will play those test matches?
But he should. He's an outstanding bowler.
No, I'm not saying on merit. I'm saying purely from a rest point of view.
I'm saying, and at this point in time, if you look at it, that only 2 people who get selected automatically for both ODI and test sides are really on form, Bumrah and Kohli. They're the only 2.
Yep.
So
they're likely to have the heaviest workload because, you can't turn around and say, I'm not going to put my best test side across in Australia.
Well, let's not
by
look
the way,
too far ahead.
some people on Twitter or social media, whatever, tell me, he said, sir, why are you posting on social media while anchor is talking? No, I'm looking at stats. It's a CrickBuzz app, by the way.
Just looking ahead, let's not look too far. We've got home test matches going down under later. Let's look at 48 hours ahead. India will be playing Afghanistan no matter what. It's going to be India's last game before that big final on the 28th. Now, in terms of the 11s, do you look at the Indian team looking at any possible changes, or you keep the same winning combination going through to the end?
Well, against Afghanistan, if they want to look at somebody against Afghanistan, if they want to say, look, Bhuvi's just come back, he's got a slightly stiff back, or maybe Bumrah's just come back after a workload. We've got some decent bowlers in backup. Yeah, you can do that. You don't make a big change. Maybe you definitely want to play a little more of Jadeja. You definitely want to play Jadhav, Dhoni, Karthik, Raidu. You don't want to change the opening comment too much. So maybe you'll just look
Deepak
at...
Chahar is in the side now as a replation, so he's an option.
So maybe look at that call.
Siddharth Kaul.
So maybe look at Chahar for Bhuvaneshwar if it is considered that Bhuvaneshwar needs rest, or maybe Chahar for Bumrah, something like that. That's it. That's it. No more.
I actually quite. You might just see Rahul playing as well, because if they have to give Rahul an outing, this is the day to do it. I mean, just try them out. Because look, it's a meaningless game. Also, the bowlers have enough workload. Why give them one day off? I mean, really.
Yeah. Looking at no disrespect meant to Gautam Bhimani's predictive skills, and no disrespect meant to him to the fact that he's had got all his predictions correct. But I think you might lose the next one.
What? Yeah.
The Bangladesh Afghanistan. You said 30 runs, no? Margin. You might lose that. It's 59 or 41 balls to get. So
you're saying that not only the margin, but even the team winning? You think?
Never know.
51 of?
59 or 41 balls. They're not. If they lose by more than 30 runs, Gautam Bhimani, I'll come and I'll take my hat off to you and present you a shirt in 18 different colors.
He already has one of those. He already has. 18 now, you need to challenge him.
Okay, maybe I'll present him a pair of socks in 6 different colors, which he won't wear.
No, which nobody will be able to see. That's the whole idea.
20 socks. Right. Sticking to that, I wasn't supposed to see that.
What every good program needs, socks and violence. Sorry.
If only the anchor could also be the person cutting cameras, then I could have gotten away with that one.
Yes.
Directors are very mean people. They cut to just the camera you don't want. Now you can see it. Now you can see me. This is what I wanted to be shown. Let's talk about Afghanistan.
Yes.
Because an important game for them. Any possible changes for them? Because they'll be playing, remember, in a different surface for the first time. They've been playing in Abu Dhabi so far. They'll be coming down the highway to Dubai for the first time.
Look, you don't know how strong their bench strength is, but the team that is playing at the moment, and even though they've just lost a wicket, they may win this, they may not win this, but you don't know how strong the bench strength is over there. That bowling lineup, Mujibur Rahman, Nabi, Rashid Khan, is among the best in the world at the moment, as purely a spin bowling combinations go as a threesome.
Is there a better spin bowling lineup in the world?
Is there a better spin bowling lineup? Well, for a start, nobody plays three like that. India have only just started playing three. And Chahal and Kuldeep Yadav might well turn down and say, you know what, our numbers are looking all right. But I don't see them making too many changes. The one thing they have to worry about is Hashmatullah Shahidi is getting runs, but he's using up a lot of balls. So he's giving a lot of body to the innings, but he's also taking away a lot of balls. They need to get him to get a move on a little bit. And I think somewhere down the line, we all love Mohammad Shahzad. We love him. He's such a character. You can't drop him because of box office reasons or his effectiveness in the side. Yeah. Today ran out Rahmat Shah and was slow. So.
He got a 50 today, to be fair.
Mohammad Shahzad, unfortunately, they will have to. And the other thing is, if you have three quality spinners like they do have, you cannot afford to have an unfit keeper. It's not possible. You're the best spinners who are bowling so beautifully. The opportunity cost is way too high for Mohammad Shahzad, and I know that,
Just the feeling I get, and from chatting with some of the younger boys, is that he lifts the dressing room, and I don't mean this in a literal sense.
Could well be.
I think
if he can lift that, I'm sure he can lift the dressing room.
Look, he's got to score runs every single time because he's a bit minus in the field. He's got to score runs every time, and he's got to ensure that they're running the singles as well.
A bit minus in the field is like saying Sholay was a bit of a hit, you know.
What is this? Cruel. He's a fun guy, but he'll have to run well between wickets because I think even today, while that we're watching, they missed a few singles.
The word you are using is run. The word he normally uses is scamper. You know,
occasionally scamper.
Occasionally scamper. And why do you want a man like that? You know, he's as you say now, if Afghanistan ever needs a stomach for a fight, Shahzad is there. Sorry, I just
on that
Kabul ke wasiyo, ye bhi hamare dost hain.
That was as bad as my lack of socks. But anyway, I think going back to you, focus back on you, is going to be for the joy factor. We've waited all day for it. We've had lots and lots of answers coming in. And remember, #CrickBuzzLive is the time to keep giving those answers back. And give us a few suggestions of your own, because you never know. If he finds a question that's tougher than his own, he might use one of your questions next time around. For now, answer for today.
Okay, here goes. Here was the question. What started in Hobart in January 2003 ended with a Brian Lara masterclass innings of 80 at the Queen's Park Oval in May that year. This was Australia's 21-win ODI sequence. 21 one-day matches they've won in a row. And it's an amazing record because the next team, which is next team in that list, has just won 12. South Africa won 12 in a row. They won 21 in a row. I think Ponting captain most of that period. It was Ponting as captain. It was an exceptional performance. And if you look at it, there were quite a few changes in the side as well. I mean, this last match that they lost, I think Jimmy Maher was playing. I mean, they changed around, a lot of injuries.
It was,
but they still managed to get
an extraordinary phase in Australian cricket. When they, in fact, I remember there was a four-nation tournament where Australia put out Australia A as well, and Australia A were far too strong for everybody else. And Australia A played the final, which some people thought was a show of arrogance. But at that point, you just judged how good the Australian team was by who was not in it. It was an extraordinary phase. It was a bit like the West Indies in the late 80s, early 90s through 90s. It was just extraordinary phase.
1994-95 four-nation tournament, Zimbabwe and England were there.
England. Was it then? Yeah, there
Zimbabwe, England, and Australia put out two Australias, and the world was saying, isn't that a bit arrogant?
And they played each other in the final.
But
also there was a phase when the English were told that beating Australia is not allowed.
Is that the phase like for Pakistan beating India is not
good words in my mouth, almost. But it is, yeah. I like what Joy said, that Pakistan beating India today now is an aberration.
Well, if by aberration you look up the dictionary and find that means it happens once in a while, well, Indian fans will be hoping that once in a while is not on the 28th of September. That is, of course, assuming that Pakistan does make it through, because they are far from through to the final. So let's not make any assumptions as to what that final lineup will be. We want it to be the dream final of India versus Pakistan. And of course, that is, the dream final for everyone. No matter what the tournament, multi-nation tournament, but that's really what everyone's looking forward to, isn't it? Because no matter what,
Pakistan games.
the first one was like a rehearsal, this one was like a tune-up, Super 4, but the Super 2 is where we want to be.
Super 2, I love it.
We've got it. Now, that's there for life.
Cracked it, boss. This is
6,
management
Super 4,
parlance.
Super 2.
Super 2.
So how many times is the Super 2? How many times they play each other, Super 2s?
That's just once. That's just
okay.
once.
But I told you, next time, give me this thing, I'll sit with the
Best
figures
of
and
three
make them
final.
show they
Best
play
of-
4
best of
times
three
in
final.
this
It's a
thing.
3 final in the Super 2s.
You could have that to justify the fact that you don't want just a lottery in a final, so give them 3 chances.
Yeah.
Win 2 out of 3. CB series, the Tri series used to be best of 3.
Yeah, correct. Why not?
I mean, they could still win. This is not a bad collection of players. At the moment, it's a bad team. Individually, they're a good side. So you shouldn't sit up and gloat and say we are the greatest. But at the moment, they'll have to up their game remarkably, and they'll have to drop their game, as happened in the Champions Trophy final. But that'll have to happen again. And this team, even without Kohli, is looking quite strong.
Well, speaking of gloating, we've nicely given the answer away. We haven't talked about our winner yet on the Joy
And your
Factor.
winner is
And the winner is?
Tanish Jain.
Oh,
Tanish
wow.
Jain.
You must have quite a watch
57.
collection. A jewelry collection. Yeah. It's not watch, jewelry collection.
Tanish Jain, 57, Cricket Buzz Live. So I'm trying to figure out what the 57 is. Probably 5th of June. Birthday
July.
5th of July.
5th of June, July. Sorry.
July.
5th of July.
Yeah.
I mean, it didn't cross your mind that he could
Could be 1957.
He could be born in 1957.
I think the odds of
Why are you saying people born in 1957 don't get on social media, don't answer cricket quizzes?
no, actually I take back. Yeah,
I
absolutely.
mean, if he's from anywhere near Kolkata, he could be Tanishq Jain, 29, and he'd still be participating in quizzes, right? So,
Come on. Tanishq, if you're out there, very quickly write into us on Twitter and tell us why you are Tanishq Jain 57. So by the time the next show comes around, we can actually solve this mystery. Is it 5th of July? Is it 1957? Is it just 2 lucky numbers that you have? 5 and 7. We'll never know. Cricket is all about numbers, and the number we know today is that India, out of 3 possible games, have made it 2 out of 3. Simon Doole isn't listening, so we're not going to look at any other logic other than the fact that it's been a commanding performance, double century partnership from those 2 magicians, Shikhar Dhawan and Rohit Sharma. Couple of delighted guests in the studio. Thank you very much, Joy. Thank you very much, Harsha. Look forward to your company very soon again. Will we be seeing you in a couple of days' time?
you might just 53 and 33, you might gloat one more time.
All right, just quickly check. But
Yeah,
yes,
see you again, of course.
we'll see you soon. We'll see all of you soon. Keep the tweets coming in, and of course, keep watching Cricket Buzz Live. We'll be back with much more analysis and looking forward to the end of what's been a very entertaining tournament and certainly a very dominating tournament from Team India.